Undefeated UFC bantamweight Hunter Azure. Thank you so much, man. First of all, congratulations on being a new father. How's life been?
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Man, it's a new baby. Life's been great. It's been a little bit of a change, but I mean, it's all been for the better. Can't complain, and I still get a good night's sleep. So, just ready to keep rolling with what I do.
As a parent, you had your son during the pandemic. Do you think the pandemic is blown out of proportion somewhat? Since you've been to the hospital, you've experienced the hospital, everything that's going on there.
Um, Man, I don't know if it's blown out of proportion or not. I'd try to stay out of the news and just
Mm.
because I know the news, everything is blown out of proportion anyways a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, the life's still been good, and it was a little different experience in the hospital wise, like with the birth and just how we were kind of stuck and left in the hospital for a couple nights. Like we couldn't leave. It was hard to go out and eat anywhere. So it was just difficult that way. But everything was good and everything's healthy, so can't complain.
Now April 18th, UFC 249 was the original date for your fight, and a different opponent than you have now. The lead up to the
Right.
cancellation must have been mentally draining more than anything. Describe those couple of weeks.
Man, the last few weeks leading up to that April 18th card it was just crazy, man, with emotions and just training. Like we hear one thing one day, next day it doesn't sound like fights happening. We don't know if we're gonna. As the Nurmagomedovs went back to Russia, we're like, do we still have him as an opponent? But we didn't hear nothing, so it's just like, all right, stay ready, and then it was draining also with just having that baby. Like any could have had him any day leading up to end of camp, but man, I'm just glad that I made it through that, and it was a long camp to start with. But I'm glad I was able to take a couple of days off, and they were able to find me something right away. Just didn't so that camp didn't go to waste.
You said you try to stay out the news. Do you feel like the media messes with people's minds more than anything? Because you have a direct line to the UFC, or your manager does, but you probably didn't hear much, and then you're hearing things from other people that what they hear from the media.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I was like, because I was believing the media in some things, and then Dana White would be saying something completely different, and hear a little bit from the manager. So, I mean, you hear a little bit of both sides. So it just kind of kept you on your toes, and just, man, he said to stay ready as you could.
You mentioned a long camp leading up to that fight. You have it taken away from you last minute with all the roller coaster of emotions. What was the emotions like once you found out? Okay, it's canceled. Like, I'm not gonna fight. Like, was it kind of a relief for you?
Well, it was a relief, as in, like, I knew where my mindset was then. I knew just to relax, and um, man, so I found out it was done. I went and got some food and got my weight up a little bit, and just had to let my body recover. So, in a way, it was nice, but at the same time, like that was an 8 week camp where, man, where you push your body through a lot, and your coaches and training partners are there. And with the pandemic, it was hard already to get people to meet up and do all the right things. So it was tough to it would have been tough to let it pass, but like I'm saying, I'm glad that they got me right back in there within the month.
With the pandemic getting worse and worse and worse, did you shut it down for a while and not train, or did you continue the training?
I continued to train. I mean, I wasn't going into the gym for a few days there, but man, I was going and running some mountains and just like putting in like some long runs and just pushing myself that way and just doing a lot of body stuff and shadow boxing. I'd meet up with some buddies. We were able to roll in a garage and hit mitts together. So I was able to keep myself busy.
Did you have to sneak around? Because I've been talking to other fighters. They've been sneaking around at night like a ninja and training at certain locations, different locations every single day.
Yeah, we're always at different locations, and like I said, sometimes we're just training outside, outdoors, or meet up at a buddy's garage, or just do what we have to do. It works. Just do what works, and just as long as we keep our mindset and our head on, man, I feel like I can go in there and fight anytime. So
Because of the the situation right now, there's a lot of people that act out of character. Has anybody come up to you while you're training outside, or any weird experiences with people?
No, I've been lucky enough not to have any weird experiences, but same time, I kind of just isolated myself a little bit by stores and going around too much people just because I had the newborn kid and stuff. So I just kept, I was just outdoors a lot, like not by too much people. So that was, I guess it was good to keep my distance.
Are there any past experiences that helped you keep your mind sharp during this time?
Man, I had thing going through 2 ACL surgeries, like just that's, I mean, you're laid up, you can't do what you want, and you're stuck at home for a while. You have certain recoveries, like just getting through that mindset and bouncing back from 2 of those. I feel like just keeping that mind clear and just know there's other ways you could just there's other ways you can get workouts in or keep yourself busy, and there's other ways to get better, watch tape and all that good stuff.
All right, May 13th is the new date in Jacksonville. Brian Kelleher is the new opponent. He's a 7-fight UFC veteran. Were you somewhat surprised when you got offered that name?
No. I mean, he was someone I was kind of looking at anyways, like hoping to fight here in a fight or two anyways. So it's good just to have him. And I watched his last fight and just I watched his last fight and not knowing I was going to fight him, but so then just having it on my mind, it was good. I mean, yeah, I wanted to fight, and I wasn't going to let that opportunity pass. Like I said, there was, man, an 8-week camp, that's long, putting yourself through all those practices, and that's a lot of hours each day, beating yourself up. So I was going to be ready for anyone, and I was more surprised that they're letting us fight at 145.
Well, the 8-week camp turned into a 12-week camp, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the little break in there was nice, just to let my body heal and stuff, like not knowing what was going on. So I had a few days where I had little nicks and stuff here and there. So it was good just to let those heal.
Yeah, that could be a massive benefit for some of the fighters, because they could have been actually entering that fight somewhat injured, but now they're not injured and they got something rescheduled.
Yep. So yeah, it was just taking care of that when I was done, and like, man, I was putting my foot in the ice bucket or hands, whatever. But everything's healed now, and yeah, just ready to go. And just hopefully I don't cancel any more of these shows.
Definitely. All right. Well, Eddie Cha, he seems to be a big piece to your MMA puzzle. What makes him such a great coach for you?
Oh man, just his style, and Eddie's style mixes well with mine. Like I don't know, and I just have a lot of trust in him as a coach and a striking coach. So I just listen to him, and what he wants me to work on, that's what we do. That's why I just feel like big in the sport is just trusting your coaches. I mean, if I believe in them, that's why I put myself in this gym and around these people. Is I believe in them, and they've been around the game a while, around certain fighters. So I just like the way they mix things up and cater to us as an individual. So it's just good, and they're just they don't sugarcoat anything either. So if they need to tell you something, they straight up tell you. There's no hard feelings or anything about it. So, and they make me work, and when we show up to work, it's fun. Like they're happy, they're there because they want to be. So it's just a good mix.
Your debut, you took out a pretty big prospect in Brad Katona. Now you're heading in against a seasoned veteran. What different of a performance do you expect out of yourself in this fight coming up?
Well, this performance is going to definitely be my best. My last fight was like about 8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no time off. We were always working and getting better. I wasn't in this game to fight. I'm just here to get better and grow. So I want to keep picking off higher ranked opponents each time. It's my goal to get to the top 15 first, and then from there we're going to switch that goal and just all the way to the top. So the matchup's perfect for me, and just with his ranking, his past fights, the style. It's a good matchup.
Is there concern for you going to Florida from Arizona with the pandemic going on? I'm pretty sure there is concern, but I'm saying, like, what is the level of concern you have? That's what I'm trying to ask.
And I'm not too concerned. Man, I already signed to go out there. I know I'm going out there, so I'm not going to let anything get to my head or worry about too much. Just take care of what I need to take care of in my body and be there mentally, and I'm going to jump on that plane and show up. And yeah.
You've been through the fight week festivities. Have the UFC told you anything different that's going to happen during fight week, or is it going to be the same?
I'm honestly not too sure. I haven't heard yet. I know we're going out like a day later than usual, so I'm sure things will be a little different, but we'll see. And I don't know how they're going to do all of our training rooms and weight cut, so that'll be interesting. So I'm sure things are going to be different.
So you prepare for that then, because I feel like everybody's prepared for something completely different. So if it's similar, then it's okay. Like it all works out.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, things are always different. I mean, so especially coming up in the regional scene, like, man, they're late for weigh-ins. They started everything late, so you just got to go in there and just roll with it.
I guess you're just waiting longer than normal.
Yeah.
Now, one last thing. There's a lot of different types of competitors in this sport. Do you consider yourself more of a martial artist or a prize fighter?
Man, more of a martial artist. I'm in here trying to learn all areas of the game and just continue to get better at it, and just always be a student and learn more new things. Whether I grew up wrestling, but I'm still learning new things at wrestling. Same as striking, jiu-jitsu. It's there's something always new to learn every day, and then there's always someone out there that could put a new move on you. So just always got to be prepared. And I just love the sport and the martial arts about it. So I just feel like more of a martial artist. Yeah.
How long do you think it's gonna take you to crack the top 15? Featherweight division is probably the most stacked division in the UFC. Sorry, not featherweight. Bantamweight division is probably the most stacked. How long do you think it's gonna take you?
Let's see. Well, I was hoping to be in there by the end of this year. So, but with the 8 months off without getting a fight and stuff, we'll see. But I mean, if they give me the right matchups and get me back in there, I already see myself as a top 15, top 20 fighter for sure. And just with the right fights and time comes, I feel within a year's time, you'll see me in there.